This is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. I'm over in Douglas, Georgia, with a young lady who wants to tell her story about her dealing with law enforcement, whatever she wants to include in this video, because often we cannot get our story told. So what's your name?
My name is Tracy Toombs. I am called Minister Tracy Toombs, and I'm here to talk about my son, Jeffrey Leon Moore. He's incarcerated right now. They gave him 20 years for armed robbery, just armed robbery itself. And he's not eligible for parole, probation, no nothing. He got locked up January the 21st, 2013, here in Coffee County, Douglas, Georgia. They came out to investigate my son, in particular saying that he had to do with robbing a gentleman here in Coffee County. And when they came to lock him up, they didn't just come lock him up. They supposed to have took him down for questioning. And when he got down there, I got down there with them to talk to them about my son, what was going on. They told me, said that he was in a robbery of a young black man here in Coffee County. And him and two other guys said they had something to do with the robbery. And they said, when they told me, said they knew he had something to do with it because they found a fingerprint at the man's house. Said Jeffrey had something to do with it. Which I'll come along and let you know that was a lie. When I talked to the gentleman, they was telling me there was a cell phone that had something to do with it. And I had a cell phone during that time, and my son was using my cell phone. And they thought the cell phone that he was using was the gentleman's cell phone. Said it was a pair of tennis shoes, size 10 tennis shoes that was missing, some handguns, cell phone that was stolen. That was it. That was said that was being missed. Size 10 tennis shoe, which is my son, he was size 8 tennis shoe. Cell phone, which was my cell phone, they thought it was the gentleman's cell phone. So when they picked my son up January the 21st, 2013, they didn't find anything on my son, nothing but his house keys. And during that time, he was staying with the young lady in Coffee County he was dating. And they was staying in the project. And the only thing he got from my son was some keys. And when they took my son out, they questioned him and asked him, did he have anything to do with it? He told them, no, he did not. So they held him for 48 hours. That's what they told him, to hold him for 48 hours if they couldn't find anything on him. So after 48 hours, they still could not find anything on him. So they kept him. And that day, I heard on the news, I was called and told me to turn to the news at 11 o'clock. And I turned it to the news at 11 o'clock and seen my son picture, him and a couple of more guys on the TV, charged with armed robbery, assault, and some other stuff that had to do with the armed robbery. And it broke my heart because I'm like, Lord, that can't be true. I couldn't believe it. And so when I found out, I went down to the police station the next day again to talk to them about seeing about getting him a bond. And they told me he was not liable for a bond. So they said that was left up to the judge. They already told me that they weren't going to give him no bond, but they said still left up to the judge. So when it was time for him to go in front of the judge denied his bond, saying he was a menace to society, which my son never been locked up for any kind of, like, going around picking on folks, fighting and carrying guns and shooting people. He never had a felony charge. He never had a misdemeanor charge. And
had he ever been in the system?
He have been in the system before. He been in the system for a little minor stuff when him coming up. Wasn't nothing hard that, could say that he was mental to society. I haven't seen a lot of people that been locked up that's about like mental society. So after that, the months have went by. When he went to court, the judge did deny his bond for mental society. Said he was, he had like he was a flight risk, which is all his family is right here in Georgia. So that couldn't have been no flight risk. And so he stayed in jail for a year. As that year went along, we had paid a lawyer here in Coffee County to take his case. She couldn't take his case because she was not on the lawyer. They had counseled her for practicing law. because of a situation that she was going through with. So we had to get our money back from her. Then they gave him an appointed lawyer because it was time for him to try to go to trial during that year. So the appointed lawyer took his case, and when he took his case, he really didn't work the case out. And as they were going back and forth to court, him and two other guys that they said it was in on this, their lawyer was the same as well. Their lawyer was the same as well. They one would come to court, the other one wouldn't come to court. Jeffrey's lawyer was always in court when it was time for him to come to court. But it was like the other two lawyers wouldn't come to court. In order for them to do the trial, all three lawyers had to be present at the same time. And so they kept putting it out. They kept putting it out. And then when the time for it to come back to court again, they put it out again. They put my son's trial off maybe 6 or 7 times within the last 2 years. And he spent 2 years right here in Coffee County Jail. And then when they finally came to trial, they gave him another appointed lawyer because during that time I didn't have the funds to get him a paid lawyer. I was trying but didn't have the funds to get him a paid lawyer. So they appointed him a lawyer here in Coffee County. And when they went to trial, the lawyers, they got up there and they tried the gentleman that came in and said that my son and the other 2 boys broke in on it first. In the transcript that was written, that was said that they broke in on him, kicked the door down, and then one said that they broke in on the window, busted the window out and came in. But when trial came out, everything that was in the transcripts from the beginning of the documents didn't match up with the trial when they came to trial. He was talking about, he said they broke in the door. He said one broke in the door, broke in on him with a gun and drug him to the back room and hit him upside the head. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of my son. And he's a big side guy. He's 5'3", and right now he wears 135 pounds. And this gentleman may be like 5'6", probably the same pound as my son. And my son could have easily hurt him by himself. But when it all came down, this is my son. Look at this picture now. This is my son. This is how he looked it before he went to court. This is him. This is him also. I'm going to hold the picture because my grandbaby is in it also. That's him also. That's how he was when he got ready to go to court. He had dreads. He's a black young man with dreads. And when he got to court, the guy was saying that one of the guys had hit him upside the head and told him, asked him, where's the money? Where's the money? Where the guns? Where the money? Where the guns? So he was like, he did not know about no money. He was like, what money? What money? What money? And what? And he said other 2 came in and started jumping on him also. And there was 3 black guys, supposed to be 3 black guys, but he said he did not see their face at all. He didn't see their face at all. And by him not seeing their face, he said they were black, but he did not see their face at all. And he said that one had a gun, one had a rifle, but the one on was saying, where is the gun? So one of them got his daddy's shotgun and asked for the bullets to go in the gun, which they didn't know nothing about this gun and about the shotgun because he said none of them never been in his house. He said neither one of these guys never been in his house. But the thing is that when they was in court, it was so much stuff that was being twisted till we was all like, what is going on? We didn't really know what was really going on because I had read from the beginning the paperwork that they had gave him before court time. You know, they always give you these little documents about what they are charged with and why they are charged. And when we got to court, I'm looking like, okay, they saying all this right here was taken and all this right here was done, and the statements didn't add up in court. One said, something told you, they said they had 2 witnesses, which was my son's stepbrother. And it's a white girl named, I'm not going to tell her name, which was a white young lady, which she's done been convicted of robbery so many times here in Coffee County, and they gave her probation. She done been on probation so many times in Coffee County for robbery. And during this time, she was on, she said methamphetamine or icy, whatever, all that kind of drugs she was on. They had those two that was spotted at Flash Food here in Coffee County 2 days before this robbery at this gentleman's house supposed to have taken place. And he said the only way he knew my son had picked him up one time before and took him home. But he said he didn't know my son, like, know him. And he did not ever come in his house, but he dropped him off at the end of the street. He said my son didn't never go inside his house. So my thing is that the other two guys, you said that you didn't know nothing about, they never been in your house. How they gonna come in your house and go get your dad's rifle and beat you with it, but they never been in your house before? How do they know where all this stuff is located at? And then you sit there and then they say that he did not see them. Did nobody see them go in the house? Did nobody see them come out the house? Did nobody see them come out the house with anything? When they went to court, even the detective that's supposed to have detected the case, the investigator case, he said that he wasn't trained to do what he's supposed to have done in the case. Like when the little young lady had told him where the stuff supposed to have been. He said he went to the place where the stuff supposed to have been. But when he went, he said nobody wasn't home. So one of your witnesses giving you evidence to a crime, that would give you evidence to get a warrant to go search whether anybody home or not. He did not do that. He said he went back again the second time. No one still wasn't home. So they didn't bring nothing to court saying these boys were guilty of armed robbery, guilty of weapon charge, nothing like that. They didn't have nothing on these gentlemen at all. And they consider as my son being in it because his stepbrother, who don't know him from man to moon, he haven't been in his stepbrother life since he been here in Coffee County. He came here in Coffee County maybe like 10 years ago, and all of a sudden he just started want to hang out with his stepbrother. And he was always like, man, you need to go home. You need to go home. These streets are not for you. That's what my son was telling his stepbrother. You need to go home. You need to go home. These streets are not for you. And he never did want to listen. My son was always the type of person that would try to help someone who he knew that they need to be in a certain place at a certain time. That's the type of person he was. But for them to charge him with armed robbery and give him 20 years max at the door with no evidence. His stepbrother, the young lady, the detective who was investigating the case, they didn't have nothing on him. And then the gentleman that said that he did not see anyone. He did not know who that was. He didn't see no face, no nothing. When they got to court, the gentleman, he did not even have like no record saying he went to the hospital, no doctor's report saying he got a gush upside his head, no kind of nothing, no pictures saying that his head was bloody, or no nothing. They didn't have no pictures of the house being torn up. They had one picture of where it's supposed to be where I guess he got hit in the head and a little smack of blood supposed to be on the mattress on the floor, and it was no bigger than a dime. That's how big the little blood stain was, no bigger than a dime. And we could see and say they did that. How do we know it wasn't staged, or how do we not know that they had it out for my son? Which the whole while my son have been out, they used to sit down and bother my son. I could be at my house, or my mom could be way on the other side of town.
When you say they, who do you mean they?
The police.
Okay.
The city police.
City police. Okay, go ahead.
They will literally stop my son and bother him. And it's one cop that would just constantly bother him all the time. And it's just like they had it out for him. They had it out for him. And I just don't understand why. We can say that because his hair was dreaded. And yes, there's a lot of guys' hair around here dreaded, and his hair was dreaded. But he was the type of person, he always worked. He got a 7-year-old son. He always worked. When he worked, he took care of his son. He took care of his responsibility, what he had to do. But for you to just profile someone because of the way they look, that's not right. That's not right at all. And they gave his stepbrother 10 years probation. gave the young lady 10 years probation, which his car was also seen at Flash Food and another robbery. So they took the picture of his car at Flash Food and showed it to this guy who never seen a car. He said he didn't see the car until after the detective brought my son's stepbrother picture, the car picture to him, and they said, well, he sat there and said, yeah, that's the car. And so you figure that was the car that was at his house, but the car wasn't at his house. The car, he said, was pushed way up the hill somewhere. And myself, I went to go see where he was talking about where the car was at. And the hill where he was talking about the car was at, it was so far out the reach of his house, he couldn't even see what kind of car they had got in or which way they went. And then his stepbrother also said he didn't even see them. He didn't know what they brought back to the car. The girl said they didn't know what they brought back to the car. And she also wrote a statement saying that my son didn't have nothing to do with it. She said, I don't know why my son's stepbrother put him in it like that. That he didn't have nothing to do with it. And it's just so messed up. He had went out there to this guy's house that morning with his stepbrother. His stepbrother came and got him. Now, listen very careful. His stepbrother had been out there to this boy's house before. This gentleman knows my son's stepbrother and the young lady. Him and the young lady had dated, had been together quite a few times. And the young lady and my son's stepbrother done been together quite a few times. So they came to my son's house prior to that day, that morning. He told me this. And he said they came and asked him would he ride out there with them to just get some money for her from him. He said he was in the bed asleep. So he got on up with his pajamas on. He said he got in the back seat and he laid down like it wasn't nothing. He was still asleep. Because he had an interview that same day for a job. Because he had just got laid off from his other job. So he said they went out there to the guy's house. He didn't know exactly where they was going, but he didn't know they were going out there. Because he really didn't know the guy. He said, so they brought him back home. He said he got in the car and he told his brother to go to the store and get him some light bread, sugar, and some Kool-Aid. So he did. And prior to that day, all this right here happened. All of this supposed to have happened when they went and robbed the guy, and them robbing the guy. My son Jeffrey was somewhere else during this time of the robbery supposed to have took place. And he also had a witness saying that where he was located at. And the witness wrote a statement saying where he was at during this time. So he was in Homerville during the time of the robbery supposed to took place. You have to come from Homerville back to Douglas. Homerville and Douglas maybe like almost a 40-minute drive from Homerville to Douglas. So the robbery took place around about 3:15, I think that's what they said. And he was in Homerville by 2 and 3 o'clock. So between that time, he had to hurry. I mean, he had to be almost Superman to get back to Douglas to help out with that robbery. And we just don't understand what really went wrong in this case right here. And then while the trial was going on and the jury had to go back and talk about the case, they really didn't know what to charge these guys with because there wasn't no evidence pointing to these guys did robbery or no nothing because for one, they didn't have no witnesses. They didn't have no guns. You have to charge somebody on robbery if they got any kind of weapon. They did not present no kind of weapon. No sticks, no guns, no bats, no knives, no nothing. Nothing. When I mean nothing, nothing. So when the jury came back out, the jury went back and forth maybe like 6 times.
What was the makeup of the jury, along racial lines?
Okay, the jury was like, it was, I want to say 5 whites, no 6 whites, and just about the whole jury was white.
Majority white.
Majority white. Cause it was three blacks that was on the jury. 3 blacks and the rest of them was white. Yes, it was. And I just don't understand how in the world they could just charge him with armed robbery. I don't understand how they could charge him with armed robbery. When the jury came back, they asked the judge what to charge them, what to convict them of. and he said convict them of, you got to convict them of something. And right then should have been a mistrial because the jury didn't know what to convict them of. They didn't even investigate the case like they were supposed to. They didn't even talk the case over when the judge found him. When he came in, he didn't even investigate the case like he was supposed to because he just came in on the case.
Who was the judge?
The judge was Mr. Kelly Brooks. The first judge was Judge Dwayne Gillis that was taking them through. We're going to continue the case. We're going to continue the case. He continued the case for almost 2 years. And then Judge Kelly Brooks, he came in and ended the case, which he didn't even know nothing about the case. He didn't know nothing about the case.
How many times did you all go in the courtroom?
We went to the courtroom maybe, Jesus.
In the 2-year period, in other words, how many sessions was it before they reached the verdict?
Before they went to court. Before they went to court, we...
No. How many times did the court, in other words, did you go 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, over the...
During the trial.
Yeah.
1 day.
Okay, but it covered a 2-year period.
Over the 2-year period, it took 1 day. 1 day. Then the next following day, that's when they convicted them. They sentenced the next following day.
Okay. Have you ever got a transcript of the court? Was there a recorder in the courtroom?
Yes, we have all that.
You got a transcript?
Yes.
Okay. And have you talked to a lawyer about,
Yes, I've talked to a lawyer.
Well, why haven't you gotten a lawyer?
Because I don't have the money to do it. And I've been doing trying to do fundraiser for my son.
Okay, what do you hope this video will do?
For someone to just speak up and just, if they can come forth to try to help me, because we have a lot of young black men that's locked up in prison for no reason at all. And it's starting to get bad around here in Coffee County. And I always said, if I have to speak out, let this be my time to speak out, because I don't want no one other parents to have to go through what I've been through it over the past 3 years of trying to help my son get out of this situation that he's in. And if he have done something, it's like the court would have proved that he done something, but the court still haven't proved anything that he done anything wrong, and that's sad. He came back to court to appeal his trial, but the judge here still denied it.
Denied the appeal?
He denied it. So right now,
he denied the appeal.
He denied it.
What was his reason for denying it? No new evidence or what?
He said he just denied it. He didn't say nobody no new evidence here. He just denied it. My son got up there and finally spoke for the first time on the stand. And he was letting them know their mistakes, what they had made mistakes of. They didn't care.
What kind of mistakes he
They made mistakes of trying to charge them with this other gentleman where he had a video. And he's a rapper, he's singing, he made a video. And they played this other gentleman video in court, tried to charge all 3 of them with his video, which that was one mistake. And then the other mistake where they didn't even come in and find them, they say objection to any of them lying to what the statements of the transcript that was made from the beginning. Did none of them say object to anything. And then the detective had to get back on the stand the second time and correct his mistakes, what he had made the first time.
Do you have just the written transcript, or do you have the audio transcript?
I have the real transcripts. I have everything.
Audio as well?
I don't have the audio. I just have the written one, what she typed out.
Did they do an audio?
Yes, they did do an audio.
You know how much that cost to check into it? Just simple CD?
I do not know.
That's maybe something you want to look into.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but I did not know.
Yeah. Okay. So really, with everything that you were saying, it's kind of bundled in together. Probably going to be hard for someone to follow that, but really what you really are saying as well is that you want your case highlighted so you can show other people what black, or just people in general, is facing with the judges
right.
and the jury system. Am I right?
Right.
Because I was over in Waycross. I don't know if you heard about that. I was over there 2 days this week. I went over to Wednesday for a press conference, and a young man and his girlfriend went into a restaurant. You heard about that? Mm-mm. They walked into a restaurant. They forgot. Well, he forgot and left his wallet at home. They're 20 years old, and he was afraid. So from what I gathered from, and this is on on my YouTube channel already. He left his driver's license there at the restaurant, but he left out and didn't pay. And from what I understand, he mailed his money back in. They say the owner of the restaurant did want them to file charges. The meal cost $11 for the two of them, whatever they got. So what happened was that the judge charged them $1,700. And with probation, they say it's going to be approximately $2,000 that they have to pay for $11 meal. And so the minority black organization association out of someplace, they got an attorney out of Brunswick, and they say that it's shining light on the injustices here in the state of Georgia when it comes to blacks paying these fines, et cetera, et cetera. And one guy even stated that some of these judges are involved in the probation. They own the probation facilities, so they are benefiting by putting people on probation, charging these fines, and they are benefiting from from the verdict they give. So all that have been highlighted, and of course, I guess when I look at your case, and I'm not too familiar with it, but it seems to me that someone need to get that transcript and audio and listen and compare apples and oranges and see if you can find some real and do your own investigation. Or get you a private investigator.
Now, since he been locked up, that's what I've been doing. I've been investigating the trial myself. I've been trying to like nix and doing little stuff. And like I said, where they supposed to have robbed the guy at, I went and to the guy, I took pictures and went to the guy's house. I didn't go to his house, but I went by his house with my car to see how could he see the car from where he said he saw the car. Right. He couldn't see the car up the hill. Like I said, he couldn't see the car from was up the hill. And then he said that the car was like pushed in a cut. And only cut I could see is where some trees was cut down at. And if this certain car was pushed up in a cut, it would have been boiled down in the dirt because it's like wet and moggy out that way. And I still don't see how he's seen all this, because where his house is, he can stay on the trailer. And where his trailer is a big old tree that's blocking coming from in, where he said he could have came in at, where the cut at.
They hadn't put no restraining order on you or nothing?
No.
Maybe we need to go out and film that. You ever go out and film it?
Yes, I went and took pictures of the place.
Did you film it?
No, I didn't. I just took pictures.
Okay.
I took pictures of me coming in like the little...
Okay, I got you. Okay, anything else you want to add in the video as far as the video, or anything you want to feel, or anything you want to say?
No.
Okay. So this is going to be different here. This is a closing. So in closing, what do you suggest to other mothers whose son may have been caught up in a situation like you have been?
Don't sit down and rest on it. Get up and do something about it. And that's what the same thing I told them before I left that courtroom that day. I said, I'm not going to sit and rest until my son is out. I'm not going to sit on this. And I haven't been sitting down since then. I've been speaking out, not just for my son, but others as well.
You've kind of become a community activist by what you've encountered, am I right?
Yes.
Give me your name again.
Minister Tracy L. Toombs.
Do you have an email address just in case some attorney or someone may want to assist you and they want to get in touch with you? Your phone number, I know you may not want to give it out, but I mean...
Yes, I do.
Oh, go ahead.
My email address is tracytoombs7@gmail.com, all lowercase. My number here is 912-501-4365.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.